Hi everyone, it's Karen Hooley, and today I'm going to show you how to single crochet. Let's get started. Before we get started, I want to remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll see great tips and tricks, reviews, and more. Something new arrives every single week. Let's get started with the single crochet. As you can see right here, I've already started with a chain. And if you have never made a chain before, you're probably going to want to go watch my How to Crochet a Chain video. Now this chain has 11 chains in it. I'm going to do a swatch here with 10 stitches, but we need 11 and we'll talk about that in a second. But first thing I want to do is make sure we count the chain and make sure we have enough chains. So we're going to start at the bottom where the knot is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we do have 11 chains here. Remember that I said we're going to have 10 stitches in our swatch. We have 11 chains because the 11th chain counts as what we call a turning chain. Now a turning chain does two things. The first thing it does is it keeps the sides of your fabric straight. And the second thing it does is keep the height of our stitches even. So a single crochet is the height of one chain. So that's why we only use one chain, and we're going to skip that chain to keep it on the edge before we start our crochets. Now, to do a single crochet, again, we're going to skip that first chain, which is right here, and we're going to move to the second chain. Now remember, the chains look like little V's. What you're going to do first is you're going to insert your hook into the chain. And when you insert your hook into the chain, you're going to actually split that V so you can see both sides. One is on either side of the hook. And then when you go all the way through, I'm going to turn this sideways here for a second, you're going to notice here also it goes through the back bump of the chain. So you want to make sure that when you're inserting into the chain, you catch one part of the chain itself and then the back bump. So once you've inserted, you're going to yarn over front to back, and you're going to pull through just the chain. Now you're going to see we have 2 loops on the hook. That's the first step of a single crochet. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through both loops on the chain, or on the hook, I'm sorry. And that completes your single crochet. Pretty simple, huh? Let's do the next one. Now we only skip at the beginning of the row, so now we're just going to move to the next chain, and you can see it right here. Here's the V, and you're going to insert your hook, catching both the top part of the chain and the back bump, yarn over front to back, pull through, so you've got 2 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through both loops. One more time. Next chain, insert into the chain, catching both strands there, yarn over front to back, pull through. You've got 2 loops there. Now I put my thumbs here to kind of even things out too. So I just kind of pinch between and then yarn over, pull through. And there's 3 single crochets so far. So let's go ahead and continue this all the way to the end of the row, and then we'll catch up again once we get to the end. Okay, we just completed the 10th single crochet. I'm going to pull the hook out here for a second, and that's what your first row of single crochets should look like. Now don't worry if yours are not quite as even as mine. You have to remember I've been crocheting a lot of years, and so I have my tension down. It's going to take some practice for you to get your tension, so don't worry about it looking a little tight or a little loose or a little bit of both all the way across. Now the first thing we want to do is count how many stitches we have. In order to do that, what I always do is I turn it to the top of the stitches, and you can see, look at that, there's another chain going across. So I always count from right to left because I'm right-handed. You can count from left to right if you're left-handed. But we're going to count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and number 10 is right underneath the loop where the hook goes. So now let's do row 2. Now remember I talked about a turning chain? Every single row has to have a turning chain. So the first thing you're going to do is chain 1 and make a single chain, and then we're going to turn our work. Now, because we're working on the tops of stitches instead of into the chain, we insert our hook a little bit differently. Now, what we want to do is we want to catch both of those loops right there of the chain on the top of the first stitch. Now, the best way to find those is to turn it sideways like this, and you're going to see there's these holes in between the stitches. Those actually correspond underneath the tops of the stitches. So you're going to insert your hook into those holes. So if you put your hook through the first hole, I'm going to bring it a little closer here, you're going to see I've caught both sides of that chain, and that's what you want to do. So we're going to insert into the top of the stitch, yarn over front to back, pull through the top of the stitch, and now you've got your 2 stitches, yarn over, and pull through both loops on the hook. We're going to move to the next stitch, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, now you've got 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both of those. I'm going to go to the next one, insert into that hole, see again I've got both sides of the chain there, yarn over, pull through the top of the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2. So let's keep going, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Sometimes at the end of the row it gets a little hard to get underneath that hole or underneath that chain at the top of the stitch, but just kind of play with it and you'll finally get it and you will finish that last stitch. Now from this point forward, single crochet is exactly the same as what we just did on row 2. So you're going to chain 1 and turn, and you're going to start with that first hole. Insert, yarn over, pull through, insert, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do that one more time all the way to the end of the row. Okay, and there is 3 rows of single crochet. Now I'm going to put this aside for a second, and I'm going to grab a different swatch right here. This is something I did earlier, and it has 20 stitches or across, so the swatch, I'm going to put it flat here, there's 20 stitches across and 20 rows up. I want to show you how to count rows. I already showed you how to count stitches by counting the chain at the top of the row, but now to count rows it's a little bit different. So let me move that up into the frame here. Now if you look at the swatch and then you look closely, you'll see there's these ridges that form as you're creating the fabric. In between each one of these ridges, so here's one and here's one, that's 2 rows. So when you're counting single crochet, the best way to count is to find these 2 rows. Now we're going to start at the bottom, so here's 2 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 groups of 2, so 10 times 2 is 20 rows. Now if you're looking at the other side, I just want to show you something here. It's not quite the same. You'll notice there's a ridge down here at the bottom that only has 1 row on it. So the way I would count this, if you look here at the top 2, there's only 1 row here. I would start here and go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. This one's 19, and that one at the bottom is 20. So that's how you count your single crochets. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll do me a favor and give it a thumbs up at the bottom of this video. What that'll do is let everybody know that you enjoyed it and that they should watch it. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and then click the bell right next to it. By clicking the bell, you'll automatically get notifications about any new videos I upload. Talk to you later. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you soon.